today's show. And on today, we are talking about it's Women's Entrepreneurship Day and what we are doing specifically, Second Act Women, to help boost and give exposure to women over 40 and 50. Lupe, later on in the show, is going to talk to you and give you a few tips on Thanksgiving and how to make it a COVID-friendly Thanksgiving. And I'm sure Zoom is involved in that. And it's Throwback Thursday. We want you later to think about and chat us up on what your favorite fashion accessory was when you were in high school. Oh my God, there's so many to choose from.
Where to start?
Right? And lastly, we are welcoming the amazing, the incomparable Makisha Boothe with Sistah Biz Global, or Sistah Global Biz, I should say, network. So on to the show. Welcome to the Morning Cup with your hosts, Barbara Brooks
and Guadalupe Hirt.
Powered by Second Act Women. Let's dive deep into hot topic number one. This is about business and career, as we always like to start. And today, specifically, November 19th, is Women's Entrepreneurship Day. How exciting is that? We forgot to give a little toast. To the morning. Toast to the morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My cup of tea. This is one of my favorites because it keeps it warm by having a little time.
Bonus.
But today we do mark Women's Entrepreneurship Day, and we later are talking to two fantastic entrepreneurs about what they're doing. But the day was spearheaded by the organization itself, self-titled Women's Entrepreneurship Day, and it's really to celebrate and support women-owned businesses globally. And the founding mission, right, Lupe, is really to advocate for us as female entrepreneurs and to help advance us globally by empowering us and supporting us. And it's just a wonderful initiative. And what do you think about this, Lupe? I love that we have our own day as entrepreneurs.
Girl, I know when you mentioned it, I was like, yes, and yes, because it couldn't have been timed any better, right? And I think what's beautiful about it is not only is it bringing awareness to we'll share some facts about just how women are crushing it out there. But in addition to that, what I love is that it provides a source of inspiration for girls that are growing up, seeing powerful, amazing women doing their thing. And I love the fact that as women entrepreneurs, we can put that hand forward and backward to make sure we all rise together.
Absolutely. And I love that it's all about having active participants from the world of innovating technology. And it's us that are coaches, lifestyle marketers. It's freelancers. It's sidepreneurs. I mean, it's all of us from every category and spectrum, basically.
The list goes on. And that just means that women are just a force to be recognized. And I love that, you know what, if we see something and an opportunity, we're actually now stepping in with this amazing confidence. And now, we'll talk about organizations like ours and what Makisha's doing with her organization to support us, to move us to that next level. So it couldn't be a better time to be a female entrepreneur, let's just say.
It absolutely is true. And even though we're the most affected, which we're going to talk about what Second Act Women is going to do about it, for the women over 40 and 50 that own businesses, we are the most affected during this time of the pandemic. Now, we were the most affected, especially when you drill down for minority women, and then you add age on top of it. My Lord.
Girl, layers and layers.
Girl, that's a whole nother conversation. But we as women entrepreneurs, and then again, over 40 are the most affected by what's happening today. Yet, we are the ones that are starting up the most companies in the nation. At Women Over 40 at 1,220 businesses a day pre-COVID, which is probably spiking post, during this time. And then it's also 1,880 for women 21 plus that are started a day pre-COVID in America. So the future truly is female and female entrepreneurship. And by the way, The day was launched in 2014, so it's not really that old, just 6 years old. And it's observed in over 144 countries. That's
impressive.
So impressive. And we're doing something about it. We're trying to help our own community here at Second Act Women. And so today, as we celebrate Women's Entrepreneurship Day, we are announcing our own Holiday Deals and Steals program to help provide leads, traffic to websites or landing pages, hopefully sales, because that's what we're about, is helping you as women entrepreneurs over 40 and 50. And so we have officially launched the application process to be a part of the Holiday Deals and Steals. Oh, I'm so excited about this. Here is our Holiday Deals and Steals program. You can apply. It's a mere $50 investment to be a part of this program, which will launch on Thanksgiving Day, the day that we'll all be home safely shopping. And you can apply to become a part of the first ever, the inaugural focus on shopping, saving, and supporting women-owned businesses, specifically over 40. So you can apply here. And here's a sample of our products. We are a for-profit company ourselves. So here's a sample of what your listing will look like. Simply log on to shopwomenowned4050.com and apply today. We have a lot of really amazing marketing and promotions tactics that we're going to employ to help you gain the exposure that you deserve. So
absolutely. And that's so beautiful, right? Because it couldn't be announced on a better day. And we're all about supporting you. We want to create that marketplace where we not only give you the opportunity to showcase your product, but we also encourage others to come and shop, and support and put their dollars to help businesses like ours stay afloat. So if you are, if you have a product, like she said, or a service or a nonprofit, definitely take advantage of this amazing opportunity to help us create a one-of-a-kind, impressive marketplace to support our ladies and keep them moving forward through the holidays.
Yes, please. We've got so much to back this. So listen, it's time to jump into our very special guest. I'm going to have turn it over to Lupe, my fantabulous co-host, to introduce the amazing Makisha Boothe.
Yeah, so talking about the importance of entrepreneurship, as you know, the road to entrepreneurship is oftentimes lonely and can be sometimes very challenging as we're navigating, trying to figure out things, especially if we're first-time entrepreneurs, and especially if we are women of color who oftentimes don't have the resources, don't have access to the capital like our male counterparts do. So I am super excited to welcome Makisha Boothe. She was a presenter at biz+life when we held it live at the Microsoft headquarters over here in Denver. But she basically launched Sistah Global Network, and it's a business accelerator for Black women entrepreneurs. She basically helps women solopreneurs and micro businesses build scalable businesses that are sellable. And as a rapid improvement coach, she also helps small businesses rethink revenue strategies, brand systems, resource allocation, and human capital strategies. So we are super jazzed to be hosting an amazing pioneer, helping women, get to that next level. Girl, welcome.
Yes.
Hey, ladies. Excited to be here.
So nice to have you, girl, here. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I love Second Act Women. I love your concept. I love everything you stand for. We need you, and thank you for having me.
We appreciate it.
And the same goes as minority women ourselves. We need your services as well. And by the way, we can't wait to take your goal setting.
Yes, we got
scholarship.
Yes, thank you. And I think Lupe, you have a really great question to ask her to kick things off.
Yeah, so let's dive into this. So you have had obviously a very distinguished career with different types of awards and accolades that have taken you from politics to education reform to also even owning most recently your own spa, girl. And so I'm curious, now you have decided to launch Sistah at 41, right? Because it was launched in 2017. Is that right?
Mhm.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about what was different of starting your business here at 41 versus when you launched, for example, your spa, and what have you learned along the way?
Oh my God, there's so much.
Where to start?
Brick and mortar, not brick and mortar.
Right, there are so many differences like night and day. But in terms of age, I would say is I'm wiser. I'm more sure of myself. I've been through some stuff, so I know I can get through some stuff. So I'm less anxious than I might have been back in the day for things that came up. And so I think that opening up, the second act is real. Like, it is so beautiful. And it's a journey and it's not easy, but it's real. I really feel like I'm living on purpose.
Wow.
That is exactly it. You're living on purpose. And we find a lot of our women, and I know you're a part of our Facebook community as we are fans of yours. And the women often say that. Now, some women, I think 20 to 30% of them are stuck with what do they do when they grow up next? Because they are full of life. They're ready to take the bull by the horns. At 41, with a family, you started this. What made you start Sistah Biz Global Network?
Oh yeah, I got fired from a six-figure
Well,
job.
that'll do it. I've experienced that.
from a six-figure job, and I was a single mom. Am a single mom, and I came home. I had a mortgage to pay, and despite the fact that I was scared, I had just had enough. And I was like, I'm not working for anybody else again. I'm done with this. I'm never going to work for anybody else again. And I pulled out, I do graphic facilitation. So I have this big canvas. And so I'm like drawing all over the place for like 2 weeks in a robe with a glass of champagne or a cup of tea one day, and just like looking like a mad woman, and like, I want to do this and I want to do that. And I gave myself 2 weeks to really explore what it is I wanted. So, I mean, one day I was in the oil and gas industry. The next day I was selling hair bundles. The next day I was coaching and like, I just gave myself that space after I got fired to mourn, to recognize that it was time for a change and that God was going to do a new thing in my life.
Yes.
To explore what I wanted for once, instead of just having whatever opportunity came my way, saying you better grab it and take it because you need it.
Right.
And to create my future, like really to have a canvas out literally and create my future. And so from that I started doing consulting and coaching, and more and more Black women were coming to me and asking for coaching support. And so I started just coaching them in my home. And what I noticed is, unlike my normal clients in my consulting work, they couldn't afford me because they weren't resourced as small business owners. And so I realized that it was necessary to do something in the nonprofit realm to address the issues of equity and entrepreneurship and access to capital. And so, and I also realized that I just love doing it. And I wanted to find the thing that I really love to do, and that I felt fulfilled, and I felt like I was adding value and giving back and paying it forward. And all the drama I went through over the years was benefiting someone else. And so that's how it happened.
Wow. That's so great. I mean, and in fact, I mean, the idea being that right now, Black women are starting up at
more businesses than any other.
We are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs in the country, but among the lowest earning and least funded.
Yeah. And I guess on that note, I mean, you yourself were an entrepreneur. You were talking about just, you gave yourself the permission and the time, and you saw this opportunity to really start to help as women were coming to you. And I think that's the beautiful thing about it. Sometimes, these experiences are put in our path for a reason, right? Because I understand that currently you're one of the only organizations that are focused specifically on advancing Black women and really helping, your solutions really help women move through some of the challenges that you were talking about as far as access to capital, or even just the networking component, right?
Well, first, let me say there are a lot of organizations out there now that service Black women entrepreneurs specifically. So I have friends and colleagues that, and women that I've met over the past couple of years that are doing that work, very similar to Sistah Biz's work. In Colorado, because we're Colorado based,
Yeah.
there aren't any organizations that specifically target Black women entrepreneurs, but nationwide and even globally, we have friends in the UK that are doing similar work. So I will say that, but yeah, we are targeting Black women, and we do that on purpose. There's a reason. There's a reason this market is our target. They're the fastest growing. They are the most in need in terms of capital and resources. And it's the healing work that really attracts me to it, because I know that there is an element of racial healing and racial justice work, and that is my heart. That is also a part of my purpose as well.
You know, you said so many things that my mind is racing with different questions. I love the fact that I love everything about Sistah Biz. What I think is really amazing too is that, you know, being a single mom, that's really tough to say, I'm jumping over fear. And I'm just going to do it. I'm going to spend 2 weeks and I'm going to map out, literally mind map out what it is that serves my purpose and my passion to help others, and just do it. And we have so many women that would like to do that. So I actually have 2 questions, because the other one's about your funding. How is it that you were able to get out of your head and say, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do this. And knowing that as a Black woman, it's tough to get the funding. And you weren't even starting a charity, a 501c3 at the time. So what do you say to women that are on the edge, that knows that they have the experience and they want to do something themselves? What is that you can say?
Yeah, do it scared. If you're scared, keep going. Do it anyway. Do it scared.
Do it scared.
But with the intention of moving past your fear. You know, like, you don't want to stay in a place of fear. I find, in fact, that I try to operate, when I find I'm operating from a place of fear, it's usually going to lead me down the wrong pathway. I'm going to make anxious and fearful decisions, and I'm not going to dream big enough. I'm not going to take risks. I'm not going to speak up when I'm operating from a place of fear. So I try to not do that. But fear is real. And so start there and do it anyway. And believe in yourself, because no, I didn't have anything, but I believed that I believed nothing was going to stop me. And so it didn't matter what was coming next, because nothing was going to stop me. There was nothing anyone could do to me that hasn't been done to my ancestors or to my grandmother or to my mother or to me that we can't overcome. And so I just decided I was going to do it, and I was going to not let anybody stop me.
I love that. And the other thing too is what you have done is a nation's first for the minority, the Black community. And that is, you have, considering that only 2% of capital, a little over 2% of capital from VCs goes to female-owned companies. Then you drill it down, and it's, I believe, less than 1%. You probably have that number, Makisha, that goes, that goes to minority-owned businesses. So, you know, Mexican, you know, all of it. Lupe and I mixed together and everything else. Minnie, you know, all of us out there. And so you have literally created a business loan fund for Black enterprise, for small and micro businesses. And that's a first, correct, in the US?
So what's first about it is that it's for Black women entrepreneurs. So Black women in business.
Love it.
And it's a loan fund. So there are other kinds of funds, VC funds, and all kinds of capital opportunities nationally. But for loans, we were the first for Black women in business.
How difficult was that? Because you had to deal with a bank, you had to deal with, like, I mean, there's so much. I mean,
yeah, it wasn't super difficult because it wasn't a plan I had.
Okay.
I just was out there yelling and talking crazy to people about the fact that we couldn't find capital for our women. And I was like, we need a fund now. And they were like, well, let's do one together. And I was like, oh, okay. So like, I mean, it was not something where I was like, I'm going to have a loan fund. It was not that. And in fact, I could do without it in terms of like wanting that for my own ambitions. Like I don't need to run anything else right now, but it's about need. It's about responding to my clients' needs. And my women were finishing the program, had beautiful business plans that were sitting on the shelf because they weren't resourced. And when they went to banks, no one was trying to hear them. And so I started to speak out and go meet with banks and bank partners and CDFIs, and the conversation just arose, and it felt like what we needed in the moment, and it was urgently needed. So I just did it.
Well, kudos for jumping into something that wasn't on your business plan, which anybody who's listening, remember, you have to have a plan. You have to have your why. You have to have your plan. You can't just go willy-nilly and start a company. You need a roadmap. So Makisha, tell them, we're going to put on screen, or we have put on screen where they can find out more information. Tell them really briefly as we close out, where they can find your goal setting workshop that Lupe and I are taking in December. Where do they find out more information about that?
Yep. So it's at Sistah.biz, and the leaderboard at the top will tell you you can register on the homepage. So that's where you can go to find the information.
And it's a 2-day workshop. Correct?
It's the very first thing I ever did, even before there was a Sistahpreneurs. Goal Digger was my first workshop. It started off as a workshop in my home, then it went to a campus for a day, then they said they wanted 2 days, so a day and a half, and now it's 2 days. So it's really special to us, and we have a ton of fun, and you leave with your business plan for the new year really mapped out high level.
You're feeling a need. All right, Lupe and I's last question. Lupe,
we're excited to be part of that. But a little fun before you leave. So you're 44. So we're curious to know, looking back at high school, identify one thing that was your favorite fashion accessory.
It's Throwback Thursday.
Okay.
You're like, I had so many.
Okay, so I have New York roots. I was born and raised in Harlem. So I would say my Timberlands, no socks.
Oh,
okay. And no socks. Oh, Lord. Yeah. I love it. Okay, so I'll give one of mine, and I'll give another one later. Mine was big, oversized earrings. I'm a product of the 80s. Earrings. Girl, the kind that pull your ears down.
Yep. All right, and I'm gonna throw mine out. I had this like wicked, like newspaper print, like jumpsuit. Like it was interesting. Like it had like all these little prints of different types of newspapers on it, and it was like a full-on jumpsuit. I loved it.
That's not an accessory. You're cheating.
And I would wear that today.
Okay. A scrunchies then?
Yeah, there you go. A scrunchie. I could see you doing that. Listen, because I saw your glamour shot, Lupe.
That one was my accessory. Is that one?
Right. Makisha, we want to say thank you, and we wish you nothing but big blessings. And we look forward to continuing being friends of yours, and having you involved in more things in the future. And again, keep up the great work, my dear.
Thank you, ladies. Same to you.
Yes, thank you, girl. Have a good one.
Have a great one. Aw, I love it.
Well, this has been, I'm so jazzed about what she's doing. And it just goes to show, like, I loved her message about face fear. Like, if you're not scared, then you're not living big enough. And that's so true for a lot of our women.
You know, that psychologist that we met with all of our ladies said, suffer the suffers. I think it's the same. If you're scared, just be scared, but do it.
Yeah.
You know,
don't let that get in the way.
Over it and get her done. So let's talk about our life and style section. Okay, you've got some tips for a COVID friendly, which is sort of an oxymoron, but that's what we're saying.
I know, right?
So, like, there's no other way to say it. I know.
I was like, what? Like, this doesn't belong in the same sentence. But so we got some tips. Thank you to like, just for these ideas. As far as I went to the COVID, to the CDC site. We ended up kind of taking these ideas from a couple of different blogs that we had come across. But in short, we know that we're all wanting to spend time with our family, but we also need to be mindful of the fact that we need to do our part to contribute to keeping this virus hopefully at bay as much as we can, especially within our initial family circles and friend circles. And so here are just a few things. We'd love to have you chat us up if you've got any special ideas that you're thinking about or tips that you get or using to celebrate Thanksgiving. But here's a couple of things. So obviously the usual things still apply. So wash your hands, wear your mask, etc. But here's kind of a cool, innovative one that I thought was okay. Pack your own food. So instead of showing up and creating the typical like buffet style of food, why not bring your own like, you know, meal, your own plates, utensils, and actually create kind of more like a BYOD, you know, bring your own.
Kind of like a picnic in the house.
A picnic in the house, exactly. So like that, there's no kind of sharing of, you know, using the same utensils to kind of share or serve yourself, etc. So I thought that was actually pretty clever. So
wow.
Another kind of cool idea is if you do insist on doing the family style, and if it's preferred, you know, if the weather's nice, consider a little outdoor patio Thanksgiving celebration, or also instead of using traditional plates, like this time, go with the fine china and go disposable. You know, that goes with, you know, disposable spoons to serve everything and plates and you know, cups, so as to kind of minimize just, again, the contact between your guests. Open windows, limit size group, obviously goes without saying as well too. And here was a kind of a cool little bonus one, which was have little like welcome glove sets and masks for your guests as they're walking into your house. So again, it's just a couple of ideas. I know we all want to celebrate, but let's be responsible in making sure that we do our part again to stop the spread of COVID.
Okay, I'm going to tell you where you can get those sets at the Dollar Tree. Okay, you can get all that at the Dollar Tree, your plasticware, and walk out of there spending $15 on the whole setup, and you are good to go. I even got this cute little fall glass at the Dollar Tree. I love the Dollar Tree. Love it. So those were great tips. I love handing over the gloves. You know, we are struggling with what we're going to do ourselves. I know you were hoping to see your mom in California, and my mom and I, as you know, just before this convo, we're talking, you know, because she's 83, your mom's in her 80s, and you have family out there. So gosh, with Colorado, and I don't know about the rest of the states going under red alert, so to speak, tomorrow. Gosh, do we, you know, my brother and his girl, it's like,
it's a hot mess.
It's a hot mess. So we want to know what you're doing. Chat us up on that. And we're going to, you know, we want to introduce to you guys. Thank you for those, Lupe. We want to introduce to you our insider, SecondActWomen insider member, Kim Riley. She is rocking 57. Yes, and she has traveled, right? 50 countries and lived in 2 of them. Hashtag jealous. But you are a Colorado native. Let's bring Kim on screen. Your favorite hobbies, I love it, are all outdoorsy things that most Coloradans, like my business partner and not me, love to do. Skiing, biking, being outdoors, overall, all of that is you. And I love that you are rocking a new look. Yes, you have to explain to women, especially as a midlife transition coach, how you are teaching the art of feminine presence, you know, and how we do that in today's world and through Zoom. So welcome, Ms. Kim Riley.
Thank you. Well, I have to say, yes, it's really literally in the last couple weeks that I'm doing more of this coming out into my own feminine. So I use my emoji sticks on.
I love that.
Oh, we talked about doing those for biz+life Con. I love it.
Yeah, I've participated in several Zoom webinars over the last few months, and so I have a whole pile of emoji sticks.
I love it.
But anyway, so in the last couple of weeks, really literally for me, so I do teach feminine presence, and it's about coming into our feminine, coming into ourselves, our full expression. And until 2 weeks ago, I just realized, and I'm working with a personal transformational coach who's helped me come to this, I just realized I haven't really been out and expressive myself. I mean, I have a whole story around that in my life, and having a mom who was manic depressive, and it was very scary to see her manic, and there was no way I was going to be crazy. No. So it really kind of tamped my expression down, and I realized it just wasn't aligned with feminine and coming out. So yeah.
I love it.
I have 9 different wigs.
You know what? Good for you.
That's so fun.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. What makes it so important for us to find our feminine presence? What does that mean exactly? And why is that important for us at this time in Middlescence?
Middlescence. What does it mean? I think it can mean so much. And I guess overall what it means is just fully expressing ourselves for who we are authentically. I mean, that's what feminine's about. It's bringing out, our beauty, our inner beauty. And it also bringing out our outer beauty. I was always somebody who's like, oh no, I don't need to wear makeup. it doesn't matter what I look like, but I no longer believe that. I mean, it's really like, so it's bringing out our inner beauty, our outer beauty, all of it. It's one big package. And in this Middlescence time, I mean, that's when we need to do it more than anything. I mean, I've just lived under a rock my whole life. It's like, forget it. I'm 57, whatever.
Yes.
Girl, yeah. And you know what I love about that is that it's never too late. I don't care if you're 57, 67, 37, whatever. Like the idea that you had the awakening and now you're stepping into it fully. I applaud you. I think that's awesome. And you are rocking that wig like a boss is all I'm
That's right. I want to get one.
You all already have great hair. I mean, my regular hair is fine, but it's fun and it makes you feel so different. So that's it.
Totally. You're like a new woman.
I bet. All right. So talking about, accessories and kind of, stepping in. So we posed this question at the beginning. So curious, what was your favorite high school accessory?
So it's interesting thinking about that, because I would have to say it's probably a carryover from my middle school years, actually. So in high school, I was really shy. Middle school too, didn't express at all. I didn't wear anything. Fashion, forget it, not me. But what carried over were those Bonnie Bell lip smackers.
Yes! Yes!
And I had like 30 flavors because it was all. And I would pull out different ones. I'd bring different ones. We'd trade them. Yeah.
I remember those.
All right, Lupe, tell what another one of yours is, because I cheated. I was on I've been Googling 80s websites just to remember what I love so much.
You know what? I really liked bangles. Like I used to have like those, like, it was like almost half of your arm type of deal. So I love the clanking noise on it. So that was another really kind of cool thing that I loved through the 80s.
Mine was shoulder pads. Oh my God. That was the best accessory I could have, is shoulder pads. Now, I also, I also loved, I didn't do the scrunchies, but I loved a good banana clip.
Oh my gosh, the banana clip.
And they were actually big when I got to college.
It made you look like a little dinosaur and how it
yeah.
Hair. I have that hairstyle.
Yes.
We're going to bring back the banana clip is all I'm going to say, right?
That's right. Kim, do you have any events coming up that real quick that you could tell the ladies about, so we could drum up some business?
Sure. I have a class that's coming up and I've just retitled it Ignite Your Expression. So I have that coming up mid-December on the 21st. I know it's right before Christmas, it's holiday time, but it's a 6-week class. I'm doing it on Zoom with women, and it's a small group, so only 8 of us, and we get intimate and a lot of expression. We do a meditation that comes into play a few weeks into the class, and it's a wonderful way to connect over holiday time and beyond. So
yeah, fantastic.
Well, you can head on over to living-connection.com to learn about this session and so much more about what Kim is doing and helping women step into their feminine presence. Thank you so much for joining us today, Kim. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye, beautiful.
Yeah, I love it. Sign off.
Thank you so much.
Those emojis looked cool. I want some.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. Well, so let's keep moving on. So what's coming up? So please know that this Friday is the last day to vote for us for South by Southwest. We're going to put it out there. If you have not yet voted, please do so today. We would so appreciate your help getting us to the virtual stage here next year for South by Southwest. And also, don't forget to sign in to feature your business on the holiday deals and steals that Barb talked a little bit about earlier today. We love to showcase a myriad of different types of organizations, nonprofits, product and service companies. So head on over to shopwomenowned4050.com to complete your application today. And Throwback Thursday, if you have not yet posted your favorite fashion accessory from high school, please do so. We'd love a little look at what you all rocked back in the day.
All right, so we have our Thursday thought for the day as we close out the morning cup on this Thursday, which is Women's Entrepreneurship Day. And we just want to remind you as your Thursday thought that nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible.
I love that.
Make it a great day, everyone.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you to our guests, Makisha and Kim. So note that our morning cup next week will be on Wednesday, considering Thursday is Thanksgiving. So make sure to tune in next Wednesday to join us. We'll see you then. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone. We'll get some outro music next time.
There you go.